Great to get you back, Matt. You're watching Outsiders. Senator Matt Canavan from the Nationals is with us from Rockhampton. Matt, listen to Patricia Karvelas from the ABC questioning your colleague.
So what exactly does the Liberal Party...
Can I ask a question? I feel like there's been a lot of blokes that have been asking questions. It'd be nice if I could ask a question.
Patricia Karvelas.
Thank you very much. I've just observed this.
Too many blokes, Matt. Too many blokes asking questions. The ABC clearly feel that there's misogyny at work there in the corridors.
David Littleproud is obviously an unrepentant sexist.
What can you say, Matt? Put her out of her misery.
Oh, look, I actually get along with Patricia really well. I get along with everybody. Maybe it was just a joke. I think she was probably just joking there. But
well, in that presser, I had a look at it, Matt, and the first question was asked by a woman. The question immediately before Patricia was asked by, I think there was 5 women who asked, or 5 questions asked by women before that question by Patricia. So they weren't being silenced as far as I could tell.
But Rita, what is a woman?
But that's
you're making a lot of judgements there.
Yeah, that's true.
Matt, just quickly,
you might just have to double check which were women, which weren't.
Exactly,
so
James.
Let's...
Hey, Matt, I just wanted to confirm with you real quickly. I am told by one of our viewers who has 2 screens on, one watching us and one watching the ABC Insiders, that Kevin Hogan has told the Insiders that net zero is Nationals policy and confirmed that. Is this, in fact, Nationals policy to stick with net zero?
Well, look, as I said, we haven't had a discussion since the election on it. Typically what the situation has been is that our policies that we previously had continue to be our policies until we change them. Now, it has been a little bit strange since the election that both Sussan and David Littleproud have said we'll be reviewing a bunch of policies, including net zero. David Littleproud did say that, and my understanding is the Nationals Party will have a debate on this issue very soon. And so that's what I'll be focused on, as I say, focused on the people. And just on that, I was actually invited to come on Insiders as well, but it clashed with you guys. So
obviously you made the right choice.
We love you.
Matt, thank you. Thank you very much.
Still an outsider.
And the good news is people will actually see you, Matt, which is even better. The whole people. So that's great news as well. Now, listen, let's quickly ask you as well about this unrealised capital gains tax on super, because this is the other big issue which wasn't prosecuted properly during the election. We did chat about it, but the coalition didn't really take it up to Labor on this. This is really sinister stuff, Matt. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, it's another big new tax for people, another new tax form for them. They're going to have to fill out not just an income tax form, but every year, regardless of whether you sell anything or not, you're going to have to fill out a capital gains tax form. And you're going to have to pay capital gains whether you have a cash flow or not. And this is not just another big tax from the Labor Party. It is one of the most inequitable and unfair taxes that could be designed, because you will be imposing a tax liability on people to do not have the means to pay for it. Some people in these situations will be farmers that may not have a lot of income. They may have drought years, and they'll be hit potentially with a capital gains tax if the value of their farm goes up. Of course, if they don't sell it, and they've got that in super, but they don't sell it, they got no cash to pay that tax bill. How are they going to do it? And this makes no sense whatsoever. You've got pretty much everybody across the political spectrum that has any knowledge of finance arguing against this, including the likes of Ken Henry, who's hardly usually a supporter of the Liberal and National parties. But maybe, I don't think Jim Chalmers knows a lot about finance. He says he's got a degree, but it's a degree in orthopedic, not in economics. So maybe he should be listening to some of these people who actually understand how this sort of stuff works, and how a tax like this could do enormous damage, not just to individual people, but also to our broader economy and investment environment as well.
And also,
I think our economy, we are, from what I hear from business since the election, we're at real risk of a recession very soon, because this government has failed to fix productivity. Interest rates remain elevated despite the cut this week. We should not be adding things like this right now and increasing the risk of a recession.
And it also puts a huge risk on farmers, apparently, as James was saying before. If you start fantasising about what that increased unrealised capital gains on your farm is, you're in all sorts of trouble. Rita?
But I think that's part of the point. I think they want people to sell down their asset bases. But on a different issue, the World Health Organisation's global pandemic agreement, Australia has now signed up to that. Again, another big issue that we did not even hear from the coalition really throughout the election campaign. And of course, we knew if Labor won, they were going to sign us up to this madness. What's that going to mean for the country potentially?
Well, look, it still ultimately comes down to the sovereignty of every government. This agreement doesn't, I know there's different views, but it doesn't make a government do stuff. But the concern I've got is will be an excuse for governments to do things that they want to do anyway. And so what we really need now is make sure we've got the parliamentary accountability in place to stop these kind of things happening or highlight them happen before they happen, unlike we had last time. That will be very difficult in the current parliament because even in the Senate, you've got a Labor Greens majority. But look, well, that's what we've got to do. That's got to earn my money as a senator. There's still vehicles to do that, and I'll be taking up that fight. I was going to say earlier before, the lack of telecommunication services in the bush cut me off, and that's why we're fighting for them. I was going to say earlier that there's all this controversy about if we don't have a shadow ministry in place and that we can't hold the government to account. Well, last year in the UK they didn't have a shadow ministry for 4 months. The Parliament sat for more than 30 days without a shadow ministry, and and guess what? That coincided with the biggest drop in popular support for a newly elected government in history. So you can hold a government to account through the parliament because guess what? You don't have to be a shadow minister to ask questions as a senator. You don't have to be a shadow minister to go into Senate estimates and put the heat on government officials that might be trying to sneak stuff like this through without proper scrutiny. And so I would ask, with respect, my colleagues to worry a little bit less about what position they're in and focus more on the position they've already got as a member of the parliament.
Absolutely.
And your first job as a member of that parliament is to hold the executive to account, whatever position you're in, whatever shadow ministry you're in. We can do that anyway.